Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video, we're going to talk about something that most people that are playing Warzone have no clue about, and that is a few different things when it comes to contracts. We're going to focus primarily on recon contracts today, so you have a better idea on how they work, the ins and outs, and there's a lot of different little details that maybe you weren't aware of. We're still going to include a little bit about the bounties as well as the scavengers to give you a little bit more information on those, so you're just better prepared when you're playing Warzone. If you do enjoy the video, learn something new today, please make sure you hit that like button. Goal in today's video is 2,500 likes. So if you could help me out, hit that number, it'd definitely be appreciative. And if you're brand new, looking to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Let's get into the breakdown. So this is the first example that we're going to take a look at. And you can see this recon is directly in front of me. This is where I'm going to be landing. And then there is a marker that I've marked on my left-hand side. What a lot of times people do not know is that there's designated areas for where these recons are going to spawn. So when I grab this one here, it's going to pull to this hangar or to the building that I've already marked. And then there's like 3 or 4 different recons that will spawn in here. One kind of on the top of the bunker, one right when you walk in, one a little bit lower, one out front. So there's a couple different spawns, but they all lead you to the same area. And that's something a lot of times people don't realize with recons. So we're gonna take a look at this first example, and what you'll be able to see is that as I glide down, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it, and it's automatically gonna pull over to where I've already predicted. So this is more of a proof of concept. I have a couple different examples where this is happening, and then we'll also take a look at how many people should actually be capturing this. I know one strategy is to have a couple people jump on it, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, but which is actually the best, and is there a big benefit from actually doing that? So you can see I run in, grab it, and where I've marked it, it ended up switching to the other one. So I had it marked previously where I was landing on the left side, and then when I came through, it ends up switching through. So before I get all the way over there, it's going to switch over, and then we'll be able to look at a couple other examples where this was a proof of concept. So this one here, I've already marked it on the map, and you'll see exactly where it's looking at on the map, the orange marker. When I grab it, boom, it's already on there. And that is kind of how it works. So you're obviously not going to memorize all of them. You can see right here, boom, it goes over there again, and it goes to the left side this time. So you kind of have the opposite depending on how it goes. Here's another one I've marked kind of in the general area where my teammate is. You can see my orange marker. I land over here at the bank. I grab one, and guess where it goes? Right next to where my teammate is. You can kind of see I was one building over. It kind of goes between those 2 spots. There's a little bit of playground there and the one that I marked. So it's something to keep in mind when you're landing at these various spots and you continue to land at your favorite spot, whether that's super or downtown or wherever. Get kind of a mental recording of what you're grabbing and where it's pulling to. So maybe that if you're landing in duos or quads or whatever the case is, you could have one oh, that's my favorite recon. It's right there. I'll jump on it, and then I'll meet you over there so they could already start capturing it, because a lot of times they're around 200 meters apart from where you grab the contract and where you actually have to grab it. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the mechanics of actually capturing it. So for this example, I wanted to test something that I get asked about pretty regularly, and that is if you are spinning on a recon, will it capture faster? And what you'll see, it doesn't end up capturing faster. If you're a solo jumping onto a recon, it's going to take approximately 30 seconds. So we'll let that play out. So you can see I jump on, boom, it started the little secure thing at the same time. Try to avoid the right one if you get dizzy, but I did want to include that so you can see the bar moving. A lot of people promise, hey, you know what, it definitely moves faster. And I think a lot of that came over from people who were playing Blackout. I know if you were spinning on the ground, they would say that it would be a little bit faster. And I think it was like 10% faster, so you'd save a couple seconds. At the end of the day, this is not helping. All you're doing is getting a little bit disoriented, a little bit dizzy, but you're going to see they capture right around that 30-second mark. There it is, right at the same time. So now let's go ahead and check out when 2 people are on the objective. So in this example, we're still using the same left side, which was the solo, which we saw was 30 seconds. But on the right, you're going to see it's significantly faster with 2 people. It actually cuts the time in half all the way down to 15 seconds, which you guys will see that on screen. So boom, we jump on there at the same time, and it just captures way faster. You're going to see how much faster that bar is moving. So it did definitely a benefit from running 2 people on there. You can get it done twice as fast. And boom, 15 seconds, it's halfway done, which is of the 30 seconds. So it is definitely beneficial to have 2 players on there. Now let's look at it. What happens when you have 3 and 4 players? And this was actually pretty cool. I was lucky enough to get some subscribers to jump in. We jumped into the Discord. If you want to join the community Discord, definitely go ahead and check out that link so you can party it up with other people from the community, try and go after some wins or whatever the case is. But you can see on this right side, there's 3 of us jumping. On the left side, there's going to be 4 of us jumping at the same time. And there's definitely a time difference between just 2, but it's a little bit closer when we get into these ones. So you'll see. So here's the example right here. On the right-hand side, 3 of us are going to be jumping on there. And on the left, it's going to be a full 4-player team. And there ends up being a difference. In game, I thought it was the exact same time. I was like, it's right around 10 seconds. What ends up happening is if you jump on with 3 players, it takes about 10 seconds. And on the left, you can see it finished a couple seconds sooner, and it's approximately 8 seconds. So 4 players, 8 seconds, 3 players, 10 seconds, 2 players, 15 seconds. Solo, it'll be all the way up to 30 seconds, which is significantly longer. So pretty much we end up playing the rest of that match out. But what I did also want to talk about is scavengers work very similar to this, but they generally pool a little bit more sporadically because it can either go X or Y, and they're usually a little bit further spread apart. So you can do a similar thing with scavengers. It's just a lot trickier and a lot more locations to actually memorize because there's more variables involved. So you could actually do it, but it would be a lot trickier, and you'd have a full mastery of where all these locations are and have considerable play time, which I don't think is as realistic as Recon's. Oh, there's one at our favorite spot, land on it, and I'll go to the next spot 200 meters away. So that was pretty straightforward. The other part that a lot of times people don't know about is when it comes to bounties. I know you've gotten to the end game, especially if you're bounty hunters, where you're out there grabbing bounty after bounty after bounty. You're trying to rack up all the cash, and then all of a sudden you hit this wall where you grab a bounty, kicks out money and a plate. Kicks out money in a plate. And we're not 100% sure on this, but basically the hypothesis currently, and it looking like it tracks, because there's no really way to do it, because you'd have to go in the lobby, talk to everyone and say, hey, have you had a bounty on you yet? Not really practical to test. So what we were able to figure out is that basically the game introduced a mechanic, I think, during season 2, because I think it was normal in season 1. You were able to get as many bounties as you wanted. But within season 2, they introduced a mechanic where a team or a player, it's either a team or a player, can only have a limit of 1 bounty on them in an entire match. So if you land, somebody else grabs a bounty near you and you grab a bounty on them. What ends up happening is if they've grabbed a bounty on you, no one's going to be able to call a bounty on you for the rest of the match. Obviously, if you go out of your way to get one of those king bounties where everyone knows where you're at, that's on you. But if you grab the bounty and it marked them, you happen to kill them, what will end up happening is you can grab another one, and another one, and another one, but it will never go back to that same person you had a bounty on. Maybe somebody in their party, it could be player specific, but overall, what ends up happening is by the time you've gone through the match, regardless if people have succeeded or failed in bounties, there's probably only like 20 players, 25 players left, maybe 8 or 9 teams. And then you end up with a scenario where you're grabbing it and everyone that's left has had a bounty on their head. So the game, in an effort to not put somebody in a huge disadvantage by marking them twice, it does a thing where it just spits out the money and spits out the plates. So that's kind of how the mechanic works. I know there's a little bit of confusion on that. I thought it was just a bug, and I was like, oh man, that was a weird one. That was just a dummy one. It just doesn't work. But this hypothesis seems to pan out a little bit more accurately, because normally that glitch or the bug is only happening late game when there's not as many players, and most of those players have already had a bounty on their head. So that's just something to be aware of. If you see that, that's basically why it does that. On top of that, a lot of times when you're running out of bounty and you're getting to that situation, a lot of times you'll grab that bounty and it'll mark someone like 1,000 meters away, all the way on the other side of the map. No way you're going to be able to get to them unless you use a vehicle, or they just happen to run into you using a vehicle as well. That's because anyone that was near you in your vicinity has already had a bounty on their head, and the game has already done what it's supposed to be fair and make it so that all those people got 1 bounty. They're immune from the bounty for the rest of the match. So just something to be aware of. Those are the mechanics of the contracts. If there's certain other things you guys want me to test around contracts, I know people are really interested in having me test the range on the bounties when it goes from a yellow bar to the 2 bar to the 3 red bars. I'm willing to test it, take a lot more effort, but it'd only be if you guys are really interested in it. So let me know in the comment section if that's something you guys really care about. And then I'll set aside time to make that happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned something new. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, just make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.